Let's get to the news. After announcing plans for a temporary trade deal, the U.S. is set to reduce tariffs on Chinese imports from 145% to 30%, and China will lower duties on U.S. imports from 125% to 10%, or as it was explained to President Trump, about $5 per child. After announcing plans for a temporary trade deal with China, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said, quote, "We concluded that we have a shared interest. So it took you 4 months to realize what the rest of us realized after one trip to the Apple store?" During this morning's press conference, President Trump said that while negotiating a previous trade deal with China in his first administration, he thought the $15 billion agreement was for $50 billion because he, quote, misunderstood the 15. But take it from Matt Gaetz, that excuse rarely works. Remember him? President Trump on Saturday claimed credit for the ceasefire between India and Pakistan, adding, "It's my biggest accomplishment since getting Oasis back together." The Trump administration is planning to accept a $400 million luxury jet as a gift from Qatar's royal family. The jet features 3 lounges, 9 bathrooms, and I'm guessing about 150 hidden microphones. That's right, President Trump confirmed that he's planning to accept a super luxury Boeing 747 jumbo jet from the Qatari royal family and said it will be a, quote, gift free of charge. Dude, it's a bribe. It couldn't be any more obvious a bribe if they had put the plane inside a giant manila envelope. That's right, Trump said the plane will be a, quote, gift free of charge. Oh, buddy, that is not free of charge. That's like saying Columbia House just gave you the 12 CDs for a penny. They're not done with you! The partner of disgraced Theranos founder Elizabeth Holmes is reportedly raising funds from investors for his own blood testing startup. Who would ever invest in that? Oh, right, Netflix. President Trump last week named Fox News host Jeanine Pirro as the interim U.S. attorney for Washington, D.C. Well, she is always up for a case. And finally, a woman in Michigan was recently reunited with her cat after it was missing for 3 years. Wow, just when the woman had finally finished vacuuming. President Trump tonight attended a Saudi state dinner. Okay, well, just so you know, it's going to be a lot of stuff you've never tried, like kabsa and mandi and forks. President Trump said yesterday he's considering joining Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukrainian President Zelensky in Turkey on Thursday for peace talks and added, quote, "I was thinking about flying over." Oh, were you? Okay, I guess let us know. These are peace talks to prevent the escalation of a war in Europe, and you're treating it like it's your neighbor grilling. Oh, maybe I'll come by. You know, you're not doing veggie burgers, are you? Hey, Wally, can we go back to the first part of that joke? I just want to point something out real quick.
I saw it.
You did?
Yeah.
But maybe saw it a little too late?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's wrong.
Russet. Is there another one?
Yeah, there's another one. Ukrainian has an N at the end of it down there.
It's my way of protesting them.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah. I was going to say this is the cost of tariffs.
That works too.
We can't afford all the the letters now.
Yeah.
I like, by the way, that you're like, I noticed too. Well, then I guess both of you and I are on the same page.
Yes, we are.
During a press conference yesterday, President Trump said that if China had signed a trade deal during his first term, the Chinese, quote, would be able to buy products that they've never been able to buy. I'm sorry, you think they want stuff from us? They have iPhones. We have cars that can't get wet. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. shared photos on Sunday of himself and grandchildren swimming in a Washington creek that is contaminated with sewage and bacteria. You know, I used to think it was crazy that he had a brain worm, but now I think it's crazy that he's only had one. In a statement released yesterday, the FAA said that as few as 3 air traffic controllers were scheduled to work last night at Newark Liberty Airport. On the plus side, nobody is working at Hudson News. Take all the trail mix and magazines you want. It's a free-for-all. During a press conference yesterday, President Trump said that he wants to, quote, equalize what Americans and Europeans pay for prescription drugs, and added that equalizing was a new word he came up with. Well, that's gonna come as quite a surprise to Queen Latifah. Authorities in Pennsylvania recently arrested a woman after she allegedly stole more than $1,000 worth of candles from a CVS. On the bright side, her arrest was very romantic. A Massachusetts man was arrested recently after he allegedly drove 118 miles per hour on Interstate 93. In his defense, he had ordered a medium, but they gave him a large. Krispy Kreme has unveiled a collection of donuts to celebrate the 45th anniversary of the video game Pac-Man, and if you have enough of them, you'll become a ghost. And finally, an alligator got its head stuck in a lawn chair last week in front of a home in Florida. This story first reported at the committee meeting for a new state flag. President Trump traveled today to Qatar, presumably to get an appraisal on his trade-in. While speaking yesterday at a U.S.-Saudi investment forum, President Trump said it must be exciting to be the leader of a booming Middle East country and jokingly asked Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, quote, "Mohammed, do you sleep at night?" Although the real question is, do you? President Trump appeared to fall asleep yesterday during a signing ceremony in Saudi Arabia. Nah, that's not falling asleep. That's fighting to stay awake. I know that look. That's what my wife looks like 10 minutes into an episode of Andor. While speaking today at the Gulf Cooperation Council Summit, President Trump said that the Biden administration's foreign policy created, quote, havoc and bedlam. Havoc and bedlam? And you guys thought Joe Biden was old? You sound like a newsreel about World War I. Havoc and bedlam in the streets of old Europe after the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand. After his motorcade was escorted to Qatar's administrative office today by camels and horses, President Trump said, quote, "We appreciate those camels. I haven't seen camels like that in a long time. Probably not since his last cognitive test." President Trump, that one's easy because the word's under it. You think they're trying to trick you, but... President Trump reposted an image of Eric Trump wearing a Trump 2028 hat yesterday on Truth Social with the caption, "I don't know who this guy is, but I like his politics." While speaking at the Saudi U.S. Investment Forum this week, Elon Musk said that the goal of his artificial intelligence company, xAI, is to answer questions like, quote, "Where is the universe going?" Though for most people who use AI, they need to ask questions like, what if a giraffe had boobs? Producers have announced that the Canadian series Law & Order Toronto, Criminal Intent, has been picked up for a second season. Of course, the episodes are only 10 minutes long because the criminals always turn themselves in. Yeah, I know, I shouldn't have littered, eh? I shouldn't have littered. Today was former NFL tight end Rob Gronkowski's 36th birthday. "I can't believe you remembered," said his friends to him. Camel. And finally, authorities in Australia recently seized nearly $500 million worth of cocaine from a boat. And if you're wondering what $500 million of cocaine on a boat looks like, here it is. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said yesterday that the Qatari royal family's planned gift of a luxury jumbo jet is not a gift to President Trump, but a donation to the U.S. Air Force, which would make it our only long-range bomber that has a bidet. After President Trump arrived in the United Arab Emirates today, a child presented him with a bouquet of flowers. Said Trump, "Good one. Okay, where's the free plane?" "I didn't come here for flowers." When asked yesterday if he would vaccinate his own children against the measles today, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said probably, and then added, quote, "I don't think people should be taking medical advice from me." Yeah, not what you want to hear from the Secretary of Health and Human Services. That's like if your pilot got on the PA and said, "We're about to hit turbulence, and I'd love some suggestions." Vice President J.D. Vance is reportedly set to attend Pope Leo XIV's inaugural Mass on Sunday in Vatican City. Well, whatever you do, Pope Leo, don't shake his hand. J.D. Vance works faster than the girl from The Ring. Today was National Senior Fraud Awareness Day, but look, he's old enough to make his own decisions. According to a new report, old-fashioned baby names like Margaret or Theodore are coming back. Also, the diseases they had. Due to overwhelming demand, Costco has announced that it will limit purchases of its gold bars to 1 per transaction, but it's still a bitch to get it into your car. And finally, a passenger recently shared a video of roaches in the cabin of a Spirit Airlines flight. Wow, they really can survive anything. That was a monologue, everybody. We are off and running.